Starting this year, some home purchases will require federal reporting, even if everything looks completely normal on the surface. If you're buying with an LLC, trust, or cash, this applies to you. Well, hey friends, I'm Jennie Wolek with the Wolek Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And today I'm breaking down what this new rule actually means in plain English, what the rule is, who it applies to, and what it means for buyers and sellers. So, what is FINCEN and why is this happening? Well, first off, let's just define the word. FINCEN stands for Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. It's part of the U.S. Treasury, and their job is to help prevent financial crimes like money laundering. So, starting March 1st of this year, there's a new residential real estate reporting rule. And what's the goal? Transparency. Yeah, that's right. Especially when property is purchased in a way that could hide who really owns it and where the money came from. This isn't about everyday purchases or with a normal mortgage. It's about situations where ownership structures or cash purchases could potentially conceal activity. So, who does this apply to really? Well, here's what matters. It's a report that's generally required when a buyer is a legal entity like an LLC, corporation, partnership, or trust. The purchase is made without a traditional bank or mortgage. The property is residential, 1 to 4 family homes, condos, co-ops, and no exemptions will apply. So let me simplify that. If someone buys a home using an LLC or trust and they're not using a traditional bank loan, that transaction may trigger the reporting. If you're buying in your own name and using a regular mortgage, most cases, this won't directly impact you. So, why this matters is, well, there's more transparency, and that protects the real estate market. So, this rule is really designed to discourage hidden ownership used for illegal purposes. It will create accountability, it'll protect the integrity of the housing market and really level the playing field for everyday buyers. So, in places like ours here in Oklahoma and even across the country, regulators want to make sure that residential real estate isn't being used to quietly move money in ways that harm the market. For most traditional buyers and sellers, this will feel like background compliance. But for investors, LLC purchases, or cash-heavy transactions, it is really important to understand. So, are there exemptions? Well, yeah, there's some. For example, inherited property transfers, divorce-related transfers, court-ordered transfers, certain 1031 exchanges, and some specific exempt entity types. But here's the key. Just because you think something is exempt doesn't mean that it automatically is. Title companies will need documentation and filing requirements are taken seriously. So this is one of those areas where clarity up front prevents stress later. So here's a helpful tool called RER Exemption Checker. So it walks through simple questions like, is the property residential? Who's buying, an individual or an entity? How is the purchase being financed? Do exemptions apply? It's designed primarily for professionals, but it gives a really helpful framework for understanding how the rule works. Now, you don't have to memorize the regulations. You just need to know when to ask the right questions. So, what does this even mean for buyers, sellers, and agents? Well, for buyers, just be upfront if you're purchasing a home through an LLC or a trust. And sellers understand some deals may involve additional reporting. As agents, be prepared to explain why more questions may be asked during the transactions. Title and closing companies, they'll handle the filing, but expectations should be set early on. The more prepared everyone is, the smoother the closing process will feel. And truly, this is about preventing surprises at the closing table. I want to emphasize something though. This is not meant to scare anyone. Homes are still being bought and sold every single day. This is simply one more layer of transparency in certain types of transactions. So if you're a traditional buyer using normal financing, you're likely aren't even going to feel a difference or notice. If you're an investor, then you may want to be informed to just be ready when it's time. And if you are considering buying or selling, especially through an LLC trust or cash purchase, and you want some clarity on how this might affect you, let's chat. We're always watching the changes in the market so you don't have to feel caught off guard. And if you appreciate straightforward updates like this, make sure you subscribe to our channel. We share real world guidance for navigating the Tulsa Metro real estate market with confidence. I'm Jenny, and I'll see you on the next one.